Hi. Hola.
Hi, here's Mr. Dozy.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Puma evoPOWER 1.3 in the brand new limited edition Celebration Pack colorway. Now, as you guys can see, it does come in a special Celebration Pack box. Open it up, and on the inside, they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes. The string bag is black in color at the top, and then does have the same silver graphic as the shoes right there at the bottom. You're also going to find the Celebration Pack logo in gold featured at the top of the bag. Other than that though, all you're gonna find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at what is an extremely limited release of the Puma evoPOWER 1.3 in the Celebration Pack colorway. So as you guys can see, the shoes still have that offset graphic where the right shoe is neon yellow and the left shoe is pink. This obviously is kind of a limited edition tribute to the Puma Tricks pack that released just before the Copa America and Euro 2016 tournaments. But this is much more limited than the Tricks pack, which was just a general release. They only made 94 pairs of these, as well as the EvoSpeed 2 SL, which was also available in a Celebration Pack colorway. The retail price on this guy is $250 US, so a little bit more than a standard colorway. But again, they only made 94 pairs, which is as limited as it gets. As I'm making this video, not sure about when it goes up. They are still available for purchase in multiple sizes, the evoPOWER 1.3. So if you are interested in a pair, as long as they're still available, I will have buy it now links on the review page of my website, which is the first link down below. So if you're interested in a pair of these very limited shoes, first link in the description, go ahead and check that out. But basically in today's video, we're going to be taking a detailed look at the colorway, talking tech specs and performance features with the evoPOWER 1.3, which is a very underrated shoe, by the way. We're going to take a look at the weight, as well as how they fit and feel on feet, and essentially cover everything you need to know about this particular shoe. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. Like I said, if you are interested in a pair, there will be a link in the description to the review page, and as long as they are available still, there will be a buy it now link there. And that's pretty much it, guys. With that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, as you guys can see, this still does have the right foot neon yellow, left foot pink coloring that you find from the Tricks pack, but instead of the entire shoe being the bright color, it's more of an accent color in the form of the form stripe, the liner, as well as the tips of the studs. That goes for both the left and right shoe. Instead, what you're going to find is the front half of the shoe being this really interesting kind of sparkly black, where there's some silver and what looks to be kind of like a blue glitter within the actual upper. Hopefully that comes through on camera. It's kind of difficult to see probably, but it is there, I can assure you of that. And then it fades and transitions using that same pattern as the Tricks pack into a silver color, although it's not the same kind of metallic silver that you find on the EvoSpeed 2 SL in the Celebration Pack colorway. You're going to find gold accents throughout the shoe in the form of the Puma logo right there on the tip of the tongue, the Celebration Pack logo there on the insole, which is perhaps a little bit difficult to see, but I can assure you that it is there. You do have the evoPOWER branding in gold on the lateral side as well. And then that logo one more time, the Celebration Pack one, in black on the back of both heels on both shoes. And then of course the sole plate, which I think looks pretty cool, has that fade effect where the back half is more of a metallic silver, and then the front half is black with, again, the accent color in the actual tips of the studs, and the other studs being more of like a semi-translucent, almost white silver color. But nonetheless, it's a really, really good looking colorway. Let me know what you guys think of these down below in the comment section. Do you like how they look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. When it comes to performance, the evoPOWER 1.3, like I mentioned at the start of the video, is a very underrated shoe in my opinion. The performance that it has on offer is absolutely fantastic, and it's a very unique shoe in terms of the characteristics that it has when it comes to feel. Now the upper is fully synthetic. It is a combination of Adapt-Lite synthetic and AccuFoam padding. So the logistics behind this particular design have to do mainly with striking the ball, and it has to do with the upper as well as the sole plate, and I'll explain those along the way. So the upper is an Adapt-Lite synthetic, which means it's a one-way stretch microfiber, which allows the shoe to stretch in one direction. That gives you this kind of bend back recoil effect, similar to how your foot would bend when you're striking a ball with no shoes on at all. Puma found through testing that this bend back recoil effect actually increases the power of your strike, so they wanted to incorporate that into the design of the evoPOWER line, of course giving you that recoil effect while still wearing a pair of shoes. Now I will say this, these aren't going to increase the power of your shot. They're not going to improve accuracy either, but that bend back effect, while you won't feel it every single time, when you do hit that perfect, really clean strike, you feel it, and it's a very kind of positive feedback sensation in my opinion. It gives you that kind of confirmation that you hit the ball really well, and you strive to kind of continue to make the same perfect contact with the ball. So if anything, it acts as kind of, like I said, a reassurance that you did something right or you're doing something properly when you do, like I said, feel that bend back effect, which you won't get every single time. You can't hit the ball perfectly every time. It's just not possible. They also do have an Adapt-Lite synthetic, which is very soft, very flexible in combination with AccuFoam. So AccuFoam is something you can't really see on the evoPOWER 1.3, but you can definitely feel. The Adapt-Lite synthetic is thin, it's flexible, and then the AccuFoam is just pieces of foam within the actual lining. So it's just on the underside of the shoe. If I open up the liner here, you can see it there in neon yellow. And basically it covers the entire midfoot, the entire strike zone, the entire medial and lateral side, as well as the forefoot and toe box area. And it gives you that nice kind of padded, almost dampened sensation, if that makes any sense. Not to the point where you can't feel the ball, but it does have that slight amount of softness to it. I would compare it to leather, but it does feel distinctly different at the same time. And the logic behind that is they found that a thinner material, which is what you have in Adapt-Lite, allows for, again, better kind of energy transfer between your foot and the ball, similar to striking a ball barefoot, but having a little bit of padding increases accuracy. So you kind of have the best of both worlds, again, according to Puma's tests with this particular shoe. And again, the feedback that you get in terms of just feel on the ball is one of the best you can get from any shoe, in my opinion, if you like something that isn't necessarily too thin and isn't necessarily overly padded. This is kind of something in the middle that just feels very unique. And you can see they have the embossed flex grooves in between the actual AccuFoam padding running through the uppers, just to, again, maintain flexibility through the upper overall. It has a very natural feel, this shoe, because it's flexible this way as well as this way, which also makes for really a super minimal break-in period with this particular shoe. As far as the finish on the upper is concerned, you can see a little bit of kind of shininess in the actual stripes running this way on the upper. That is their Grip-Tex texturing, which again is kind of similar to ACC from Nike or Non-Stop Grip from Adidas. It's supposed to be a kind of wet control grip element, but not something that honestly you notice all that much on the shoe, at least in my opinion. For the most part, it feels like a relatively smooth synthetic upper, and that's really the best way to describe it. As far as reinforcement is concerned, there is an extra layer of material here at the forefoot and toe box area, so durability and sole separation shouldn't be an issue. I've never had any problems with the evoPOWER 1.3. The laces are off-centered, being pushed to the medial side, giving you just a cleaner area right here to make contact with the ball when you are shooting, which I personally don't mind. The tongue is thin, but it does have memory foam pads running all the way through, so nice and comfortable, even though it is on the thinner side. The cut at the heel is a little bit lower, which is kind of unusual for this particular style of shoe, but again, they wanted to really promote that natural range of motion. You have an internal plastic heel counter, pretty standard cut at the very back of the heel. The inside heel liner is a textured synthetic material that has some decent padding, and step-in comfort, like I mentioned, is definitely very good with this particular shoe. Insole, fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. It's a mesh liner on top. Just features a single layer of this white foam, and then you have perforated yellow foam additional pieces in the heel, forefoot, and toe box area. So as far as underfoot cushioning is concerned, you get a pretty significant amount of it from this particular insole. Moving on to the sole plate, you have what's called their gradual stability frame, as well as their DuoFlex section area at the front. So basically what's happening with this sole plate, it's made from a Pebax material and it's very flexible. So it does have the ability to flex backwards, giving you that recoil effect, which is made a little bit easier by these DuoFlex grooves right here that run through the forefoot, which is going to help it to flex backwards as well as forwards, which again just gives the shoe a very natural sensation. And then the gradual stability frame, GSF, you see the branding right here, as well as the little kind kind of graphic within the actual plastic. Basically, it gets gradually stiffer as you get towards the heel. So it's very, very flexible at the toe, and then as you get closer to the midfoot and then eventually at the heel, it gets stiffer and stiffer and stiffer. And that's kind of the concept here. You don't really want much flexion in the heel and midfoot area, but you want a lot of it in the forefoot, and you get that with this particular design. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, works really, really well. Very aggressive traction, even though this isn't technically listed as a speed boot, if you will. But it does work really well in terms of digging in and pushing off in pretty much any direction using a combination of bladed and conical studs. And speaking of the actual studs, that's also geared around striking the ball, mainly when you're planting your foot. So you're going to notice that the bladed studs seem to be laid out fairly randomly. You have this little design where it goes like this. That is actually for when you plant your foot. So if you imagine planting your foot, you initially make contact with the outside heel stud, then you kind of teeter over and balance out, making contact with this front stud. Then you kind of move forward off of your heel on back to the outside of your forefoot, and then eventually teetered back onto the tip of your toe. So that's kind of the range of motion and how they've laid out the bladed studs. So you have as much kind of grip when planting your foot to strike the ball as possible, which is going to lead to more efficient energy transfer. Again, there's a lot of kind of logical thinking with this particular shoe in regards to striking the ball, and it would kind of make it sound like this is going to improve performance. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But again, when it comes to actually shooting the ball, the sensation that you get from the evoPOWER line, not just necessarily the evoPOWER 1.3, it could be the 1.2 or the evoPOWER 1 as well, but the high-end models nonetheless, they're all really, really good, and I really feel like the evoPOWER 1.3 is the best variation of the shoe that they've come out with so far. So if you're on the market for a new pair of shoes, you want something that has what the evoPOWER has on offer. If what I've described sounds good to you, this is definitely one of those shoes that you should have near the top of your list because it's a very, very good performer. When it comes to weight, while the evoPOWER 1.3 might not look like the lightest thing in the world, they're actually a lot lighter than you might expect. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. I'm going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.05 ounces, right at the 7 ounce mark, which is the equivalent of 200 grams exactly, which again, pretty light, almost on par with something like a Superfly 5, for example. So if you're on the market for something that is very light, the evoPOWER 1.3 is in the same weight range as a Superfly 4, a Magista Obra, very, very popular shoes. And again, this shoe just doesn't get the attention that it deserves. So again, if you like what I've described in regards to the overall feel of the shoe, especially when it comes to touch and just shooting the ball in general, just know as well, it's also pretty lightweight. All right, so here is a look at the evoPOWERs on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes. And on my right foot, I have a pair of black and neon yellow 50/50 SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. Find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, the evoPOWERs are super comfortable out of the box. Pretty much no break-in time required. The sole plate is flexible, the upper is flexible. In fact, the upper is somewhat stretchy. It's very soft against your foot because of the AccuFoam padded liner. And again, there really just isn't anything to break in. They're pretty much good to go right out of the box, given that you get the right size. As far as the overall fit of the shoe is concerned, that's where it does have a little bit of kind of quirkiness to it, and that's more of a Puma thing as opposed to something that's specific to the evoPOWER. You can see the toe box does have more of an anatomical shape to it, where it comes to a bit of a point at the big toe and then kind of curves around like the natural shape of a foot. Some people don't really like this. I don't mind it at all. It's not something that really I think takes any time to get used to. That's for me personally. Your experience might be a little bit different, but I know some people just straight up do not like it. It is a little different in comparison to a rounded toe, but for the most part, like I said, I didn't have any issues with it. And I think most people won't either, given that you give it a try. As far as width is concerned, the shoe does have some decent width to it. This is one of those shoes that I think will fit most people. It'll stretch ever so slightly after some wear time, but like I said, you're really not going to have any issues fitting into this shoe for the most part. And as far as sizing is concerned, they do run a half size small. Instead of wearing my usual size 9 US, I bumped it up to a 9.5, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that's it for my review of the Celebration Pack Puma evoPOWER 1.3. If you guys are interested in more info as well as where to get a pair for yourself, check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. If you have any questions at all regarding this particular shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.